In this lesson, we will discuss using audio in your After Effects projects. Okay, so I want to go ahead and add a piece of audio to my project panel. So I'm going to just grab that footage folder in the project files and then grab the learn online _audio wave file. And before I grab it, I want to just go ahead and create an audio folder inside of my project panel. So I'm just going to twirl these up and we'll right click and go new folder and call this audio. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drag that right onto that audio folder so that it automatically puts that in the folder and organizes that for me. Okay, so the place that I want this piece of audio to begin playing is just right about here as that shape layer turns blue. So whenever I'm using audio in my After Effects projects, I usually like to keep all my audio either at the top of my stacking order or at the bottom, but it's really easy to start losing little audio files and sound effects that you may put into your After Effects project in between all of your visual layers. So you want to be careful that you don't mix the two and you either keep it all at the bottom or the top, or sometimes I'll even preview out just go ahead and do a pre-render of my whole thing and then put the audio in at the end. So that's up to you how you want to do that kind of editing. Sometimes it's easier to edit to audio, which we can talk about in a later lesson, but sometimes I'll even just go ahead and pre-compose all of the layers I have on my timeline and do the audio in a separate composition. So it's up to you how you organize it, but just keep in mind that it's easy to lose things whenever you're mixing those file types. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this piece of audio and drag it to the top of my stacking order, and then we'll just grab this little clip and bring it there so that it's kind of there at the end of the current time indicator, just kind of beginning there right around 27 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about how we can look at what's going on this piece of audio. I'm just going to go ahead and twirl this down there. And I also want to point out to you that if you had some kind of an audio file that was video and audio, you would have both the little I and this mute button here. But we only have a mute button because this is a WAV file. It only contains sound information. So if I ever want to mute a layer, I can just turn on and off that little sound icon there and it'll mute my audio. Now if I twirl down this waveform option there, you're able to see all the different little peaks in the audio that we have there. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see that better. And another option that you see here is our audio level. So this is what controls how loud the audio actually sounds. Now, just turning up your headphones isn't going to make any kind of a difference when you're working with audio. And eventually, whenever someone else gets your project, it might sound too quiet or too loud if you don't regulate your audio levels. So let's talk a little bit about how you can regulate those levels. Right now, I don't see any kind of audio change in the audio panel up here, which I also want to make sure that you have that audio panel opened up. If you don't, you can just come over here to Window and check audio on right there. So you want to make sure that you're always looking at this because we want to standardize those audio levels. And a good standard place for those to hit is right in between the 12 and the 9. Just that -12 and -9 is a great place to aim for. Any much higher than this, you're going to start clipping and losing audio. And very much lower than that, people are going to have to turn up your video a lot when they want to watch it. And then when they come to the next thing, it's going to blast their speakers because the next thing they watch will probably have standardized audio. So you want to make sure that you're standardizing your audio as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to this clip. So how do we listen to a clip? Everything we've been doing so far to play back our audio has been that 0 key that we've been using. Now we haven't had audio in our project up until this point, but that 0 key in our number pad that we use for our RAM preview would play back audio if we had it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just what that looks like now. I'm just going to hit the 0 key on my number pad.
Learn online. Wear what you want. We don't care.
So now you can hear that audio clip, and you could notice that you can also see what's going on there visually at the same time. Now, I could have been just doing a preview type where I'm only seeing the visual part of it. So just want to see my video, not hear any audio, I can use the space bar. So I'm going to hit the space bar now. And you can see that that's moving through at real time, but we're not hearing any audio. So that's another way to do a preview. I just haven't shown you that yet because we haven't had any audio up until this point. Now, what if I only want to hear my audio? I can use the period key on my number pad to just preview the audio. So that's right there next to that 0. And if I hit that,
learn online. Wear what you want. We don't care.
You can notice that the video stayed still just right there where the current time indicator was when we hit that button, and then it played through just the audio. So those are a few different ways for you to be able to listen to your audio as you're working on it. Now, if you were paying attention to all three things at the same time, you may have noticed where those levels were coming in. And it looks like right at the beginning of this piece of audio, our levels are a little low, and then our speaker gets a little bit louder. So I want to show you how to change this by setting a few keyframes. So this beginning part sounds a little bit louder, and this part will just remain the same because it looks like this part right here, if I just do a quick preview and take a look at those audio levels while I do this.
Wear what you want. We don't care.
That looks like that's hitting just about the place that you want it to, between that 9 and 12. So since we're happy with where the audio levels are at this point, let's go ahead and set our audio levels keyframe. So go ahead and click that stopwatch there. And then I'm going to move my current time indicator backwards to the end of this quiet part. And then we can just turn those audio levels up, and you see how they begin to grow as we drag that forward. So let's drag that up to something like a 6 right there. And now let's preview this through. And what we're trying to do while we're dragging this up is get the peaks of these levels to match the peaks of these. So now I'm going to just go back to the beginning here and hit that period key to just preview my audio.
Learn online. Wear what you want. We don't care.
Now, it did sound like now we have this beginning part happening a little bit louder. But one thing I wanted you to notice was that we didn't hear the audio actually turn up. So it didn't sound like his voice started out really quietly and then got much louder. So that's something that you want to watch out for, that you're not setting keyframes on top of audio and there's a really audible increase or decrease in the person's volume. So I purposefully set those keyframes just in a little bit of a pause that we have there. So let's turn this down to just a +3. So now I'm going to have maybe just a little bit better standardized audio, and we'll go ahead and move that current time indicator back to the beginning and hit the period key to preview that through.
Learn online. Wear what you want. We don't care.
And that's just about perfect right there. We have much better standardized audio, and you really can't tell a difference between this piece of audio and this piece of audio. They sound like the levels are just about exactly the same. So in this lesson, we learned how to add audio to our projects, how to preview that audio, and how to standardize our audio levels so that people who view our videos will have a consistent experience.